Real quick, before we get into my college decision video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I started this fundraiser for a homeless shelter in Seattle that I volunteered at for the last 2 years. One sub equals $1 until I hit 1K. So that's about an $850 donation. All you have to do is sub to the channel, and then I'll add $1 that I'm going to donate. All right, let's get into the video. We made it to the state championship, and we were driving down the field. Coach actually put together a really good play script before the game, and everything was coming to us easy. I was making plays inside the pocket and using my athletic ability to extend plays and find different throwing angles. I was even able to extend some plays I probably shouldn't have been able to by breaking free from some sacks. But everything kind of changed when I threw the ball to Bill Wilson on this motion route, and he dropped it. It gets tipped and intercepted by a Terrace DB. At the end of the day, whose fault it was doesn't really matter in the eyes of most. Almost everyone just looks at the final box score and attributes full blame to the individual throwing the picks. So far, I wasn't proving any of my critics wrong. This is a PSA, by the way. Look, if you came here for a story of a 5-star blue chip quarterback who started throwing the football at the age of 3 and had everything given to him, you just came to the wrong place. I have to fight for everything I get in this series. Again, starting out as a player that had no experience before his senior season throwing a football, played track and basketball primarily. It was near the start of the second quarter, still 0-0, when I found Alex Howell on this really good option pitch, and Howell did the rest, taking it all the way up to the 15-yard line, putting us in position to potentially score our first touchdown of the game. Another option play was called, and I broke a few tackles before going down, making it 2nd and 6. I displayed great patience on 3rd and 7, waiting for Hussein to clear the linebacker before throwing it to him for the first touchdown of the game. With 50 seconds left, I put together a masterclass of improvisation at quarterback, navigating edge rushers, blitzing linebackers, and excellent coverage DBs to find throwing lanes to my targets. Hussein was explosive in the passing game, having already caught 1 touchdown, and then Sari was able to finish off the drive, catching it behind the linebackers to get us a 14-0 lead at half. Mount Lake Terrace had turned the ball over to start the third quarter, and we were able to capitalize, getting another great option play, pitch off to Bill Wilson, who scored the touchdown. Before our championship game against Mount Lake Terrace at Husky Stadium, no less, a local piece came out in the Seattle Times about the altercation between Gio and I. I was painted in a really bad light, but to be honest, I couldn't say I didn't deserve it. I'd received a scholarship offer to play quarterback at the University of Washington, the school I dreamt of going to my whole life. Now, I didn't know I was going to play football for UW originally, but I grew up a huge fan, watching Isaiah Thomas and Terrence Ross play basketball, and then Jermaine Kearse and Myles Gaskin play for the football team. In this article, it was rumored that UW would be pulling their offer. Not only would I not be receiving a scholarship, but I wouldn't be receiving general admittance either to potentially play as a walk-on. My teammates picked me up when I needed it most, though. They made sure I locked into this state title game. The outside noise was not going to affect our chances of bringing back the first state championship for the school's football program since the 50s. It was 21-3 in the fourth quarter when I delivered the final nail in the coffin for Mount Lake Terrace. I scrambled out to the right, kept my head up, and delivered a beautiful lead pass over the top to Gio Saria. Gio was one of the guys who kept me in the game mentally, surprisingly. Next play, I found my number 1 wide receiver, Nguyen, on the slant for the game-sealing touchdown. My teammates and I got to celebrate after a crazy season. It was bittersweet knowing I only got this 1 year to play with the team before going to college. Speaking of college, I told everyone I was going to announce my decision after the state title game. The rumors were actually true. UW and several other teams pulled their scholarship. They cited a lack of team chemistry, a toxic locker room, and more. I was down to 3 choices: University of South Florida, Louisville, and Buffalo. After careful consideration, I decided I was going to become a Buffalo Bull. I picked Buffalo specifically because their coach sold me on the idea that I'd get to run a pro-style offense. I wanted to make it to the NFL, so I felt that I needed to develop significantly as a passer, more so than as a runner. The 2 stars in this team are Jamari Gassett, a wide receiver, and Aljay Henderson, a running back. Each of these dudes could make it to the NFL. I was getting ready to move to Buffalo towards the end of senior year when the schedules were announced. In our first week, we would be playing against the Ohio State University. Ohio State at the time was ranked number 2 in the nation, so we had a lot of work to do, and I'll see you in the next video.